Hey there, awesome folks. This is Mentor Shelley. I'm coming to you tonight on this holiday weekend. I want you guys to come in, say hello as you're coming in. And what we are going to talk about tonight is, do you want to quit that job? Because I know I talk about jobs and how to get one and ways for you to get in the right paying ones. But truth be told, if we had the if we had the choice, would you quit but you can't afford to? If you have this on the brain, or if this is something that you may possibly look to do in the very near future, there's some things that I want you to consider, and there's some things that you're going to need before you take that venture on. So go ahead and jump on in as I give you guys time to come into the live. Stay tuned. Hey there, beautiful people. This is Mentor Shelley, and I want to start off by saying happy Merry Christmas to those who celebrated an upcoming New Year, and for those who are celebrating Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa to you. I think you're on day 2 of Kwanzaa, and also for those who are celebrating the Festival of Lights over the next 8 days. This is a holiday season, and there's a lot of days that people commemorate, and I just want to say happy holidays to all of you, depending on what it is that you celebrate. All right. So we are not going to hesitate any longer. We're going to jump right in. We want to go ahead and review some things, but I also want to get the perspective from you guys. If you have aspirations to possibly do this in the very near future, go ahead and drop a 1 in the comments saying that, yeah, I want to quit too, but can't afford it. But there's some things that we want to go ahead and consider. So this article is from, let's see here, Very Well Mind. It's was written a few months ago, written by John Liopke. And it says, I want to quit, but I can't afford to. What should I do? I have some ideas, I have some suggestions, but we're going to jump into this. Coping and planning tips for when you just can't anymore. Mondays, am I right? If you're feeling pigeonholed at the job you hate, trust us, we've been there. In fact, after the great resignation and the quiet quitting era, it's not surprising that most workers are fed up with their workplace, especially when the vast majority of stories on the subject are anti employee. Oh boy, this starts out pretty interesting already. I'm going to put myself down here so you guys can see more of the article. Go ahead. I promise I won't bite. Go ahead and say hello as you're coming in, and chime in on the conversation. Of course, if you have questions, go ahead and put the question in the chat. All right. A research survey of Gallup found that more and more U.S. employees are becoming detached and less engaged with their employers. But it's not so easy for many of their bosses 2-week notices and disappear. A job means healthcare coverage, retirement, and security. Not the security part. We'll get into that a little bit later. Many Americans can't risk their livelihoods for a less than favorable workplace, considering most are living paycheck to paycheck. But how do you leave if you don't have the money to throw your hands and storm out the building like every like every office comedy ever? Let's break down what to do when you hate your job, plus offer exit tips and strategies to leave your safety net or not. Number 1, you got to understand your feelings. According to this article, let's start with physical realities of being stuck at a job. A bad workplace leads to poor mental health, says Jadish, I won't even pretend to pronounce that name. K, PhD, a professor in public health at New Mexico State University. His research has found that those under extreme work stress experience physical symptoms like stomach ulcers, brain disorders at high rates. First thing I'm going to say, folks, make sure you are not at that job compromising your very health. If it gets to that level, it's time to go. Hello, CD. Welcome to the live. How you doing tonight? Let's see here. Let's get back to the article. Poor mental health leads to job insecurity, and job and financial insecurity has a huge impact on your mental health, he says. A person who has to worry about food every day and does not know where their food comes from the next day, how can that person concentrate, go to school, do any productive work? And those who are in chronic job insecurity, even if they don't complain, it does manifest. Clinical psychologist Sarah Adler remembers the toll her previous job had on her mental health. Before becoming a licensed medical health professional, Adler worked in the financial sector, clocking 80 to 100 hours a week. Jesus. Whew. Though financial support from her partner was part of the reason she could leave, that didn't mean that the financial realities of her job didn't play into her decision. I didn't feel like I could quit, she said. The reason was not only financial, because I lived in New York City and had to pay my rent. It it was also from a pride and social perspective. I had no idea if I could get a job doing anything else. That's where we come in. That's where I would come in as a career coach to make sure that that decision is made with some key pieces involved. However, there are people whose professional role is to help people figure out if they should quit a job on how to do so. Sarah Wheeler, CPCC, a UK-based quitting coach, oh, there's a quitting coach, who says that to identify why you're having such feelings can be helpful to reflect on whether your struggles at work are triggering a fight, flight, or freeze response. Some people, when they have a really difficult situation, will want to quit. Some people will want to stay and really fight it out. And some people will go into paralysis. Oh boy. And what I say to people is all of those responses are valid and necessary sometimes. And I think it's really important to notice where the flight option is actually saving your life. If you have a toxic boss, if it's a real unsafe environment, yep, she says that is so important for people to recognize when they take space and time in order to come to a decision that is safer and more comfortable. What I will always say, folks, even before we get any further here, at the end of the day, please do not sacrifice your mental health for a job. You can always get another one. I don't care how difficult you think it might be, but compromising your mental health is not something you want to get down the road, because there's some things mentally you're not going to be able to get back. Sometimes it's just best to say bye-bye to the job, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. Let's continue, folks. All right. Now, let's see here. I always said to people, decide not to decide. So sometimes our brain wants to make a decision, and it's like, I want to quit, so I've made a decision. I want to quit, so I'm in control. I want to quit so that I know what I'm doing. Sometimes it's enough to tell our brain, I'm going to decide not to make a decision for a month, or at least for a week, or until I've slept, or until I have had a meal. Oh boy. Takeaways. She said that for someone who is prone to more of a freeze response, taking that space can mean setting definitive dates, or when you can properly reflect on the situation and choose the next steps. Assessing your financial situation, that's a very important factor to consider. If you're ready to go, but you are concerned about financial repercussions, it's worth spending the time to get those things right. Oftentimes, employer-based supports like short-term disability offerings and employee assistance programs that can supplement your missing income and buy your time are hidden in plain sight. Harsh Trivedi, that's a doctor, president and CEO of a nonprofit health provider, Shepherd Pratt, suggests looking at the support system in your workplace. Talk to coworkers, set up a meeting with HR, and go over your company benefits. Yes, please do that, but do not share too much. We'll talk about that in a minute. You do not have to wait until times are tough to find how your company supports its employees physically, mentally, and financially. Please use your EAP programs, folks. That's what it's there for, to help you through life struggles. Now, with the workplace, I will say there's a greater expectation that your employer provides some level of mental health benefits. So I think, first of all, as you're thinking about jumping or moving to another organization, lots of times new employees will say, well, what's the maternity benefit? Not enough people are asking about the mental health benefit. Please have a conversation with your human resources, or if you have a benefit specialist, go ahead and have that conversation with them so you have a good estimate of what you have available to you right now. That said, even if the financial cost is high, if you're really, really ready to leave, go for it. Staying in a job, especially an unhealthy one, will cost you your physical and mental health, he says. We're noticing feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, and an inability to change the work situation that they're in, he says. Sometimes it's not a matter of what the financial stressors is, if it's causing you not to want to live or getting you to a pretty dark place. If it's getting to you to that place, folks, it's time to go. No amount of money is worth your overall health and livelihood. I could not agree more. Things to consider. Part of this process has to be about your level of financial privilege. Are you at risk of losing your home? 1. 2, do you know the welfare supports available in your area? 3, what kind of savings do you have? Wheeler says that an issue he sees quite often is one where people have a hang up about using those savings when, in an ideal situation, they'd be earmarked for someone else or something else. If people do have savings, that might be the moment they say, you know what, it's more important right now than the house I want to buy. I need to look after myself, and I'm going to choose to put some of the money towards that. Don't be afraid to spend them looking after yourself and getting yourself out of a toxic work situation. Please do. Just giving yourself that time to find the next place from a calm, from that place to a calm place. That's actually, if your mental health is compromised, guys, please, I'm going to say this, I'm going to come forward. Please, please, please make sure you are staying in a mentally healthy place. Hello, Victoria. Welcome to the live. Hello, Denise, Joe. How are you guys doing tonight? Listen, just from what we've read so far, I'm going to say this with my whole chest. Please do not, under any circumstances, compromise your mental health for a job. You can always get another one. If you feel like they are literally driving you crazy, then it's time to get your HE double hockey sticks behind out of there. Okay? I'm going to say that just off rip. All right? Well, we're going to jump in and finish up, and then we're going to go ahead and discuss some of the things that I would say, absolutely, they're already talking about some of it, but there are 3 specific things that I want to go over. If you're consider doing this, I definitely want you to look at these 3 things first. All right. So let's jump in and continue here. Now, looking at options outside of the workplace before you leave. Research gig-based jobs, side hustles, and even freelance work. Perhaps there are other positions in your company that you'd prefer over your current role. Whatever you do decide to do, Adler says it's important to work through as many options as you can, even when choosing how to make your exit. For the record, she doesn't recommend the one-day storm out path she took. Well, everybody has a story. It I think it depends on a lot of factors. What is the job that you are in? How much do they need you? How much do you care that they need you? Are you burning a bridge? Do you need a reference? These are good questions to ask. So, really evaluating how harsh you want to be versus how much you need something from them, and to balance those two sides of the scale. These are very pertinent questions to ask yourself because this situation can and will make a difference. Also, let me see here. So, really evaluating how harsh you want to be versus how much you need something from them, and to balance those two sides of the scale so you have a choice in terms of what actions you are about to take. Great assessment. Takeaway. An alternative option that Wheeler recommends is resisting the urge to strip back every responsibility you have in life outside of work and actually adding things that are nourishing. If you're feeling very isolated in your job and you're like, I work alone, but I just want to quit my job because I feel so lonely. Maybe you're also looking outside of your job for a community. And maybe you're like, okay, well, away from my job, I'm going to make a bigger effort to join a choir, be a part of a sports team. Yeah, that could be some of the issue as well. And suddenly you're not so isolated outside of your job, and suddenly isolation in your job is maybe even actually welcome because you've got that balance outside of work. Yeah, that's a good option. That's a good way to look at it as well. It says, should you get a part-time job? Sometimes you can't quit no matter how much you want to. Your finances just won't allow it. And of course, that's different for every person. But maybe you can build a safety net in the meantime. That's where a part time job comes in. Part time work can build an additional safety net. It also presents an opportunity for you to explore a field you can't at your day job. Writers are famous for taking person facing retail jobs for some extra cash. Having a low stakes part time job means you can get some additional social interaction and creative inspiration while also meeting new people and exploring the world outside of your field. The cons: working one job takes a ton of energy, let alone two. This is also true. This option may just simply be inaccessible for you for capacity reasons, and if that part time job is in any similar way or similar sector of the main gig you're in, you may be adding to your burnout, and you also may be crossing some employment agreements, so just be careful with that. More and more people are choosing to freelance or enter the gig economy with jobs like DoorDash, Uber, and Postmates, just to name a few. I've heard of Instacart. Okay. There are also tons of benefits to these gigs, like building a business or side hustle on your terms. Cons: gig economy providers aren't known for their positive work environments, and building your own business takes a ton of time, energy, and money. Something you may not have. In business terms, it's called a runway. Oh boy. Building a safety net. That's going to be important, but I do want to check in with you guys. Huh. Oh yeah. Yeah, the work alone, a lot of us can relate to that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, only because depending on where you are in life and if you're in your hometown or you've moved away from your hometown, that could be something that is very much so an issue. Let me see here. Building a safety net that takes many forms, including not just your finances, but also your mental health. There are a fair number of resources available, including from governments, about how to approach your finances if you've lost or quit your job. This can range from figuring out the bare minimum that you can live on, to accessing your emergency fund, to looking at your current state of living and whether you may need to make adjustments in the short term or make quitting that much easier. Mentally, however, it is very important to track your health and identify who you can go to support. Adler says that there are a number of indicators that may signal it's time to take a closer look at leaving your current work environment. I think it's when you're really unable to engage in your activities in daily living or of daily living. If it is really interfering with your ability to eat, sleep, basic functioning, getting dressed in the morning, getting out of bed in the morning, taking care of your hygiene, if it's impacting your relationships, if it's impacting those things in a way that feels distressing, I think it's a good signal that you got to get some help, and that would be truly, you know, be truly beneficial. Developing an exit strategy. While it seems appealing to march right out and never come back, Adler cautions against it, and I would too. Instead, she recommends asking yourself deep questions about the job and your future career. As you get closer to the stage where leaving feels like the only viable option. Takeaways. She suggests the following questions. How much does your company need you? How much do you care that your company needs you? Are you burning a bridge? Do you need a reference? If you're ruining a relationship between you and your employer, a relationship you'll need for references or connections in the future, by up and leaving, then think about the consequences of never having those connections in your back pocket. Very true. While you get to leave that negative job environment and feel satisfaction, a high and dry exit comes with a few drawbacks, including the absence of work benefits like healthcare and financial security. There's no job that's secure, so let's throw that word out the window. If you can, maintain professionalism at all times, folks. Please, please, please. By giving your manager ample notice, 2 weeks is standard for most workplaces. Now, I will say this, you don't necessarily have to give that notice. Okay? But we'll talk about that too. Now, it would be advised that you do that because they don't warn you when they're firing you, but they recommend that you give 2 weeks notice. Um, Update your professional materials like your resume, cover letters, your LinkedIn profile, and all of your career marketing tools that you have in your tool shed. We talk about some of those on this channel. We'll be talking about more of those in 2025 in more detail. Changing your LinkedIn status and quietly let recruiters know you're open for opportunities. Prepare for the exit interview with reasons why the workplace was a bad fit. Adjust your spending and savings ratio according to a non-working lifestyle, and attend networking events and connect with relevant professionals in your field. Last but certainly not least, the bottom line is if you both hate your job and your bank balance, know that you're not alone. Hey, we all out here. Hello. We are all out here. I'm chuckling because listen, if we had loved the bank balance we had before we got the job, we wouldn't be at the job. Let's be clear. So we're at the job trying to help that bank balance. Remember, if you both hate the job and the bank balance, know that you are not alone. Experts say that it's important to communicate with those in your work and personal life to identify when your mental health might be slipping and to identify the supports available to you. This can help maintain some level of mental stability while you search for your next opportunity. Don't lose sight of other opportunities and career paths for you, ones that aren't checked with mental anguish, says Trivedi. The most important part of the conversation is never lose hope, he says. Your health and well-being are worth more than any job or any paycheck. Get help before it's too late. And of course, they provide a substance abuse and mental health services hotline here, along with the link for the website. Now, let me come back on this screen here. Beautiful people. I'm going to make this statement, and then I'm also going to include I'm also going to give you a little bit of a surprise. Now, I'm always going to tell you, and I'm always going to say it to you, no job is worth your sanity. Your mental health is also very important. So let's be clear. All right. Now, I also want to let you know that throwing how you quit and what you do before is also important. And we're going to go over a few key pieces that you'll need before you truly push to make this decision. All right. So, of course, before we delve into the conversation, I have our resident, let's just put it out there, our resident, she's not a guest anymore. She's a resident friend of the channel. Let's go ahead and bring up Victoria Langford. Ah,
Hi,
sister,
girl.
how
Hi.
you doing?
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy
Happy
Friday. Oh my gosh.
Friday.
So, thanks for the invite.
Of
Your
course.
girl is busy, but never too
Listen.
busy for Mentor Shelly. So, here I
Oh,
am.
oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, of course. Hello, Char Willie. How you doing, darling? Welcome, welcome to the live. Listen, before I jump into all my spiel and what I want, some of the pieces I want to tackle here,
Mhm.
Victoria, is there anything that you want us to pay attention to during this holiday season that you got going on?
As far as what I got going on is it's my, stuff that I had going on probably a month ago, 2 months ago. Debt consultations
Mhm.
definitely created a more affordable option for a lot of people that are just now getting familiar with my platform and what I do, my skill set, blah, blah, blah. We are doing 30-minute consultations at a deeply discounted rate because I realize that a lot of y'all just really already know the answer to your questions, and you have all the tools that you need. You just need that extra little oomph, and you need that advocate that will tell you like, hey, actually you're on the right track. So it doesn't take me an hour to tell you that. It doesn't take us an hour to get together and figure it out, right?
Right.
So as an advocate, my job is to tell you, hey, you actually have the answer. Get on out there and do it, and just push you out there, give you that motivation. So
No,
we
right.
decided to create a more affordable option. So we got the 30-minute consultation. Of course, the hour is
Mhm.
still available. Fantastic, amazing. But yeah, that's what we have. So I'm really trying to make my services more curated to my audience. Some people
That's
just
right.
they don't need that deep dive. You know what I mean? We have services for that, but y'all are smart. Y'all know how to get on the right track. You just need a person to be your cheerleader on the sidelines. And Victoria is okay with being that. Okay?
All right.
Girl.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Of course. I just want to make sure you guys are aware that she does have some services and consultations available, along with some other resources, which I also touch on as well. Now,
For sure.
Victoria, before any of us, yes, Denise, of course, when all else fails, the Bobbsey twins are gonna be out here. Bringing
Hmm.
you some really, just if you're considering this, guys, what is it, right? What is it that you really want from your economic life, just based on what we've just gone over so far? Listen, nobody wants to stay at that job forever and a day, forever ever, forever ever. No, let's be clear. And I share in that sentiment, because we don't want to work for somebody else forever. But what I will say is this: there are three things that I want you guys to know that you will absolutely need before you step out there. I want y'all to have the information. I want y'all to have the proper, I want you to be prepared. If you're truly deciding to do this, I want you to be prepared. Um Number 1, I want to make sure, let me see here. Buddy, my computer is acting up. Let's see. Before you take any action, before you tell them deuces, peace, I'm gone, what are you going to do? Are you starting a business? What is it that you really want from your economic life? Answer that question. Do you have a side hustle that you want to develop into full blown business? So that will support your economic life. Do you want to do side hustles or gigs until you figure that out? Because sometimes the job is really jobbing. And sometimes your boss is really a toxic boop, 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 boop. Put whatever you want to put there. So before you say, okay, chuck deuces and be out, what is it that you want? Please figure that out first. Because if you step out here and say, I'm done, I can't do it no more, I quit, what are you quitting to do? Are you quitting to explore? Are you quitting to what are you going to do? Let's figure that part out first before we volunteer our entire income, or if that's the only way you make money, you're volunteering a good portion of your income. Victoria, what do you say? Well, how would you that isn't that the first question? If you're going to do something, if you're going to take that kind of action, you do need to have some form of direction. What is it that you want? You quitting,
I agree. Go ahead. Go
but
ahead. What were you saying?
no, I said, but what is it that you are you quitting to go full time with your business if you've been working on it on the side? Are you
Hmm.
quitting to go travel all over the world? Do you have the resources for that?
I love that you said that. So, okay, I have perspective from both sides, right?
Right.
So I definitely talk to clients where I will sit there with them, go through the numbers, we'll go through our debt tracker, we'll calculate their income versus their expenses, how much disposable income they have.
Right.
And I will say to them, hey, you need to get another job. And I don't need you to love this job. I just need you to get this job because we have a goal, right? Pay off your debt, whatever it
Mhm.
is.
Right.
And because I don't know what it is. I will say this. Let me just start by saying that. I don't know what the true underlying energy or cause is, but a lot of people are very averse to getting another job and just kind of grinning and bearing it. I think that we've kind of lost
Mm.
that grit. So I like what you said about if you quit, okay, or not if you quit, but like what are you segueing into? It's like, okay, we've already decided, all right, we hate where we are. Okay, there's a lot of emotion that can get wrapped up in that. I don't like where I am. I hate this. It grinds my gears, so to speak. And we get so caught up in that feeling of it that we don't start to really think, okay, but if I quit this job, what am I going to do? Or if I pivot to this other industry, do I really like this place? Like, or am I just going to be on a hamster wheel and be unhappy within 6 months? And the same thing's going to happen again. I can speak on it because I've been through it, because I've experienced it. And I mean, you and I
Mhm.
talk offline, like, I'm going through some of that right now. Right.
Right.
And the thing is, sadly, okay, well, not sadly, this is life. Okay. You're going to have a part time job that you don't like. You're going to have to make choices and get this income, get this money, right? Do you think, well, some of the, okay, well, let's say this. I was going to say dope boys, right? Drug dealers on the corner. Not all of them, not all, not all of them enjoy what they do. Some of them are just doing it as a means to an end. Or if you think about the exotic dancer that is trying to pay her way through school, she may not really like what she's doing, but she's doing it as a means to an end because she kind of has a plan. So I notice with my clients, some of them don't have that plan. And I think as adults going into this new era, this
Mhm.
new administration, this
Mhm.
new economy that is nothing like we've ever seen before as adults, right? Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. We have to actually sit and contemplate where we want to be, because we live in a society that says let's fly by the seat of our pants. Oh, who cares where we are next this time next year? YOLO. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, no. You know what I mean? It's
Thank
like,
you.
right, because I'm
I
like,
can't I can't do
because
that with the roof over my head. So yes.
you can't. And realistically, like even you and I are in like different phases, right?
Right.
Because like I'm the credit solutions. Okay, that's fine. I help people get into houses, but my ownership like journey is different than yours. You know what I mean? And it's different than a lot of my
Right.
clients. So how I
Right.
conduct myself financially is not going to be the same way that you conduct yourself financially versus one of my clients, right? So
Right.
I think what we have to do is realize that though I know the snowflake thing is not a big, like everybody's trying to say, oh, you're not a snowflake, but we are, because the way you handle it, you are a special type of snowflake. The way I handle what I want to do and how I pivot is going to be different because I'm a different type of snowflake. I have different things going on. So
Right.
I think if anything, we have to figure out what is important. Like some people listening tonight might come to you because they need um, career advice, right?
Right.
That's a different snowflake. They may come to Victoria Credit Solutionist because they need, okay, I got the career, I got this, I'm set, I don't need none of that. But now I need to know what to do with this money that I have right now. That's a whole different snowflake, right? That's
Mhm.
not a snowflake that necessarily might be in your wheelhouse, but maybe over in mine.
Right.
So we have to, like you said, realize where we are, what we want to do. If you don't like your job, that's fine. Listen, nobody likes work. Okay? A lot of people don't like work. So
Nobody
saying
dreams of
that,
labor.
no, for real. And I'm gonna ask you straight up, because like, I be going on and on, girl. But like, listen, like, okay, what do you like your work every minute of every day? Like,
No, not every minute of every day. Let's be clear, because being in human resources can be mentally taxing depending on what it is that you're dealing with at the time.
mm-hmm,
And as a career coach, I find it more rewarding because sometimes I'm able to help more on the career coaching side that I am on the HR consulting and the HR roles that I am in and I have been in, because
mm-hmm,
there are employment laws that dictate how far or how close I can move. There
mm-hmm.
are policies that are in place, driven by federal law, driven by state law, that will
Facts.
dictate where I what I can do and what I can't do and how we can maneuver versus what we can't do. So there's stressors and things of that nature that come up that culminate with whatever field you're in, because there's going to be some form of regulatory agency in some way, shape, or form that influences what it is that you can do in your specific structured job. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so it
Yeah.
just depends. So Victoria, you made a very valid point. Everyone has to, nobody has the same exact tracks, because the only person that can be you is you. The
Mm-hmm,
only person that knows where you are is you. The only
mm-hmm,
person that can dictate where you go next is you. So I asked the question, what do you want out of your economic life? Because one of the first things you're going to want to do, this is one of the main things, get very clear, get crystal clear about your exit strategy. One of your exit strategies could literally be, right? I'm just using this as an example, right? Before you tell them I quit, set a quit date. Give yourself a realistic timeline. Make sure your finances is in order, whether you have a 3, 6, a year's worth of backup in that emergency fund. If you really want to quit and you really want to be out here on your own and have a business support your lifestyle or have a side hustle support your lifestyle, you're going to need to know what your expenses are, your living expenses. You're going to need to know, or you're going to need to have funds in place to address those expenses. You know, some of these folks out here get lucky and get lucky with the YouTubes and the TikToks, and they make money and they catch the wave and they ride it and they say, "Oh, you can do this too." What I don't play about is the roof over my head, so I cannot um, operate
I
from
don't
that.
blame you.
Okay, you
No, but
have to
honestly,
know.
nobody can. I'm
Some
sorry. I'm like,
people
nobody
can
can
give you
operate like that, you know?
some people can give you, and then there's some people that do operate like that no matter what happens. They are brave and a little bit crazy at the same time. I know I can do it. Let's be clear. So you have to get oh, I know there's moments of kiki in that, because a lot of
Yeah.
people that you said, well, oh, I just up and quit, and they give you the Goldilocks story, but you have to look at the background. Like, I was listening to a content creator
Mhm.
talk about how she decided to quit her job back in maybe 5, 6 years ago. However, this person
Mhm.
has a husband. That's also
Mm.
taking care of the bills. This person also had 3 to 6 months of expenses already saved before she
Mhm.
decided to quit her job.
Mhm.
So, if you are going to do this, get very clear about what it is you want to exit the job to do. Is it that you're switching industries? Wonderful. If you want to do that, that's something that I can help you with. You can go to mentorshelley.com/consultations. I help you with making sure that you have the skills to be able to make a smooth transition, and what you'll need to do with your career tools and things of that nature to help cultivate your professional brand to be able to get into that new industry without a lot of hiccups. That's something I can help you
Mhm.
to do. Now, if you're looking to, oh, I want to buy a piece of land and put three tiny houses on it, and I'm going to mortgage this amount of money and do that and do all of these things financially, then they're going to need to have a conversation with you and with Cherie from Black Women Making Money. Because if they're going to purchase any form of property, whether it be land or a fixed house or investment property, then that's her specialty. That's what she does professionally outside of doing Black Women Making Money. So
Mhm.
if they're making any of those plans, you have to get crystal clear. And I don't mean pie in the sky, I have it in my brain. I mean, let's get some documentation. Let's put it on the computer. Let's make sure bank accounts and action steps are documented, because this is not play paid. This is your financial and economic life we're talking about. So if you're going to do it, make sure you do it right. Now, anything else to add before we get to the next question?
Yes, I wanted to touch on something really fast. I think
Mhm,
that when you talked about having the plan, I think
mhm.
that the reason that a lot of people struggle with having a plan is because we are making these knee jerk reactions because we don't like our job. So it's not necessarily, oh, I don't make enough money, blah, 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 blah. It's just, hey, this job stresses me out. I go home and I drink at night. I go home and I smoke some sticky icky icky. I go home and I just cannot cope, right? And that's the reason that a lot of people want to leave their jobs. So I think it would also behoove a lot of people, like you said before, use your benefits. If the job is stressing you out, number one, recognize that you don't like it. Okay, that's step number one. But let's get to the bottom of why you don't like it. Is it truly because you don't make enough money? Is it because maybe you're working while deep down in your heart you don't believe that you should work? You want to be a trad wife? Hello, Mentor Shelly is helping trad wives right now. But it's like maybe you want to be a trad wife and you don't know how to express that. And you are tired of getting up every day, commuting and working for some other man, making him rich, making him and his family rich. Because guess what? what, the CEO, he got a trad wife. How about that? He got a trad wife, right?
In
Girl.
the
Le- uh,
aesthetic
le-
sense of the
le-
word. Wait. In the aesthetic sense of the word, because I'm
Look.
sure if she's not a dummy, which I pray that she's not, if she's not a dummy, there's somewhere, somehow, either in some form of prenuptial agreement or some form of agreement where she's getting a stipend every month.
Something. Yeah.
Okay.
And even her, she made her marriage a business because she understood what to do. And again, I'm not gonna plug her too hard, but Mentor Shelly got you on lock. So trad wives, she gonna tell you, listen, because it ain't nothing wrong with being one of those, but you gotta do it smart.
Please,
So
Mentor. Mhm.
but what I wanted to say is that, like, a lot of people don't have not taken the time to understand or internalize or sort through why they don't like their job. So I think we have to get there first. What is it that I don't like about this job? And where do I see myself in however many years? Do I see myself in this career path? So because a lot of
Mhm.
people haven't really sat and thought about that, they have the knee jerk response to just quiet quit or do the mass exodus that a lot of people are still doing really over the last couple of years. People don't
Mhm.
understand why they don't like what they're doing, why they're not fulfilled. And a lot of it, is going to take sitting with a therapist, sitting with a career coach, sitting with a, debt elimination strategist, such as myself, such as you, all that stuff. It's going to take actually getting other eyes on the issue at
Mhm.
hand to get to the bottom of what it is.
Yes.
So we have to first accept that maybe we don't know why we're not happy, but be willing to figure it out and commission the assistance that you need. So, what
Yep.
I wanted to say to bring it full circle is, listen to this HR professional, because if you have a job that has benefits, guess what?
Use them.
Yes, oh God, yes. So you can use your EAP. So check it out. You get what, between 6 and 8 free uh um uh sessions with
Mhm.
a therapist,
Yep.
right? they
Yes.
do they Yes, and they do not share that with your employer. You get your 6 to 8 free. And let's talk about why free is important, Mentor Shelly, because well, we ain't gonna talk about our prices right now because y'all gonna click the links, but we are not cheap per hour. I am not cheap per hour. And Cherie, shout out. I see you there, girl. So Victoria is not cheap per hour. Mentor Shelly is not cheap per hour. Cherie is not cheap per hour. Name drop. Erica Williams ain't cheap per hour.
No.
Diamond Dave, good luck. Good luck. If you
Okay.
think you're going to get that brother online for an hour for free, okay?
No.
Look. Girl, I be texting Dave like, hey, Dave, what's up? Girl, take 24 hours. Dave be like, what's up? But anyway, so what I'm saying is that if you have this job, what we have to do is, I don't know what other word to use, but we have to use a bit of alchemy here, where you have to say, okay, this job gives me these amazing benefits. Let me go ahead, get my EAP so I can get $1,000 worth of consultations, therapy, just venting. I can get that out. $1,000 worth for free. Over $1,000 worth for free.
That is, yeah.
Let's talk about that. So
If,
then you do
mhm,
that, right? You do
mhm,
that. And let's
mhm.
say you can go to BetterHelp, you can go to, your insurance, whatever, and pay a deductible, pay a copay,
The
pay
copay.
a copay to keep it going.
Mhm.
Figure it out and start to
Yep.
to work on your exit plan on your company's dime. Come on,
Ah, hey. Don't say
girl.
no more. Don't say no more. We're
And
gonna
I'm
touch on that.
done. Let me
We're
mute
gonna touch on
myself,
it.
girl. Go ahead.
We're gonna touch on that. First of all, hello, Cherie. Cherie from Black Women Making Money. Welcome to the live. It is always beautiful for you to join us. Yes, Cherie, it is hard for many people to leave, but
Yes.
it is harder for you to stay when it is compromising your mental health. That is why we are
Mm.
focusing, especially in this point right now, that
Mhm.
you, while you are still at the job, please use benefits that you have. There are several ways. Um, EAP program is one of them. You may be able to get 2, 3, 5, 10 sessions depending on the EAP program you have.
Mhm.
Use that piece to help with the mental health and get some clarification as to what it is that you want and need. Is it the job, or is it other factors, areas of your life that is causing you the dissatisfaction that seems to be manifesting in the job? Use those resources. If those 2, 3 sessions didn't get it and you want additional mental health, you can use the insurance you currently have with that job and use it to procure the services of a mental health professional and start working through those things. At the end of the day, have a plan and execute it. And you are correct, Ms. Cherie. None of our services are cheap because you are going to get quality. There is a price for that. So, um, absolutely. Her see, Cherie says my exit plan took 2 years to implement. But guess
Mm.
what? If I know anything about Cherie, when she's going to do something, number one, there's clarity. Number two, there's a plan. Number three, execution. Okay. You see how those three things come together? Because then you, when you do all three of those things, you go from where you were to where you want to be. Now, I want to ask this other question right now for those of you that are considering it and you think, oh my gosh, I can't afford it. My other question is, do you have or are you working on creating additional income outside of your job? If you are, wonderful. If you are not, you might want to consider it. We did mention the gig work because they did talk about it in the article, but is there a service or a product that you can provide to the marketplace that is needed that you can use to create additional income outside of your job? Is that something that you may need or do a part-time job? Victoria mentioned that. Um, this is also another way for you to get additional income to be able to build up that emergency plan that is a part of your exit strategy. Victoria, what would you suggest for the people that are here? If there is one person that is listening to this video, whether you watch it now, you're watching with us, or you're with us now, or they're watching it at another time, what is one thing that you want them to know about having the ability and taking action on creating additional income outside of your job? Is that something in this day and age of 2024 going into 2025? Is that something that's necessary, or no, I'm good with just my job? What do you think?
No, it's necessary to get out there, get that money because we're in a time right now after coming off the pandemic and just people really adjusting, and then we have a new generation entering the workforce, which is young Gen Z. So not the older ones that are closer to millennials, right? But the young Gen Z. There's this sector, there's just this need for people that want to work and fill these positions. So uh I am not averse to getting a part-time job. So you and I talked about, vulnerability the other day, and here's my thing. um I've talked to Cherie about it, I've talked to you about it, but I have not talked to my audience about it. So I work at a flower shop part-time, right? Let me not say nothing crazy because I don't want nobody, checking for me. But girl, that's as temporary as a fart in the wind. You know, I love saying fart in the wind. That job, listen, because I realize I don't like the public.
Woo!
I no, for real, girl. Because the thing is, what I want to say to everybody is that the only reason that I'm being transparent about this right now is because things happen where you may be on a certain track, but then say you get into a medical accident, say you get into a car accident, say life happens. So you may have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and go out there and get a job. Credit Solutionist is not ashamed of that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
My thing is, look, yo, I gotta go slang these flowers real quick. But here's the thing: what I want to tell you about that's so unique is that if you decide to go get that another job, right? Part-time
Mhm.
job, whatever it is, or gig work, because I'll tell you some of the best nights I had was when I drove for not DoorDash, but Uber Eats and Grubhub. Oh
Right.
my God, what a way to learn your area. What a way to learn what the millionaires in your area live like.
Oh
What a
yes.
way to drive up to a mansion and see a Honda Civic, because you need that experience, right? Because you need to get some
Yes.
perspective. And I swear, every time I drove up to those places, or I would anyway, I could talk about that forever.
Mhm.
So what I want to say is that life happens. So if you are too good to buckle down, go get a job, go get a part-time job, right? Work
Mhm.
after your, during your 5 to 9, right?
Mhm.
Your 5 to 9, make that your part-time. Do it
Yep.
for 6 to 9 months. What is that? The time's going to pass anyway. Would you rather be sitting and watching ridiculous content on the internet, or would you rather be out making money? Let's talk about that. So then, what I use this the flower shop gig, whether how long I'm going to be there is neither here nor there, but
Mhm.
it teaches me how to sell. It teaches me how to
Ah.
yeah, it's free sales
Hold
training because
on.
I oh
Hold
God,
on.
girl.
Park right there. Stop right there.
Yeah.
You are working a part-time job,
Hmm.
and it is another way that you have picked up or you are sharpening the skill of selling.
Girl.
That is a very important pivotal skill for anyone that has a business.
Hmm.
If you're not picking up skills, if you're not doing what is necessary to sharpen your saw, your knowledge saw is what I'll say, you are regressing. It is important to always be open, ready, and able to learn something new. And the flower shop, in
Hmm.
its, whether you decide to stay there or not, that's another conversation for another day. But it is teaching you something very important: how to sell, the
Yes.
psychology of selling. There is a book called Psychology of Selling, but
Yeah.
you're getting to understand that with in real life interactions. When I'm not going to share numbers, but when you shared how much in the space of time that you've been there, as far as the amounts that were made,
Girl.
I near my mouth. Listen, my mouth fell open. I was like, good Lord.
Ma'am.
Listen.
Ma'am.
Okay.
I
So
wanted to I wanted to throw up. So let me just say this, because we good at cliffhangers here, y'all.
yes.
In the time that I was at this place, I grossed an amount that most of you watch YouTubers talk about making in a year. I did it in 5 months.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So what it does, and I want to, and you and I need to deep dive on this one day, because when you
Yeah.
when you get a part-time job, particularly if you work for a small business, because I'm very um partial to small business. You
Right.
will never see me working at a Walmart. You will never see me working at a big chain grocery store. No.
Yeah.
I prefer small business because you get to see firsthand how people run their businesses. You get to see, oh, wait, a 9, $10 million business is not what you think it is. Okay, I work for a $10 million a year business, and it's a small business. I'll just put
Okay.
that out there and I'll say that. But
All right.
yeah, you can pick up skills, and because for you, like someone like you or I, right? Um, we are more online focused, right? We're
Right.
more web based, right?
Right.
So we do see people on camera. You and I get on YouTube, which we talked about is a very unique thing that I didn't appreciate the niche-ness of it, but to wake up, go into a place, see people, like
Mhm.
face to face. It's very different, because to have to sell to somebody while you're looking in their eye is very different than having a YouTube video with 50,000 views and people automatically buy what you're selling because, oh, she's got
It's a different
50,000
skill
views.
set.
Yeah, like, oh, she's
It's
got,
a different skill
80,000
set.
views. Yeah, like I think the highest video I have right now is somewhere in the 80,000s, right? So it's like, okay,
Wow.
she's got 80,000. I'm going to book her consultation right away. It's very different than someone walking up to me, doesn't know me from Adam. My appearance has to be on par, the makeup got to be right, the clothes got to be, the attitude, the soft skills. You better get well rounded in what you're going to do in the next few years, because if you don't know how to talk to people, if you don't know how to sell to them, if you can't
You're
appeal,
suicide.
girl, because let me say this and be quiet. I talk to boyfriends, husbands, wives, co-workers, families that just lost their families, families that just lost, someone to
Right, right,
tragedy.
right.
Today, okay, did a bunch of funeral or arrangements for a young man that got gunned down here in Richmond by two
Mhm.
other teenagers. A 17-year-old got killed by two
Yikes.
other teenagers. I get to see the news stories that y'all see on the news. I get to actually work with those people one on one and talk to their family members. The, getting out and getting a part-time job, you would be so shocked at the stuff you'll learn.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity to increase your skills. That's actually
Yes.
one of my next, but I want to definitely go to the comments here. Cherie says, I'm very focused on my lending career, but I believe most people should. People are still asking you because you did that as a business, writing business plans, because that was what you did outside of a regular job. Still rocks. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live. Still rocks says, I am Ubering part time before and after work. I was doing
Nice.
security, but I make what I make doing security in half the time. Well, listen,
Woo!
honey, I like that. Work smart, not hard. I love it. And
On
you
your
ain't got
own
to stand up.
time.
I like that.
Mhm.
Cherie says, use a part time job to get more skills. Yes.
That's it.
Absolutely, because I'm sure Still Rocks is having conversations and learning about people and learning more about his general area while he is out there helping people to get transport them from one place to the next.
Mhm.
Um, Parlor, hello, welcome to the live. This is the first time I'm seeing you here with us. Welcome, welcome. I'd rather become an avid saver than add another job. Listen, whatever way, listen, whatever direction you want to take it, as long as
Word.
you are going to be, you have a solid plan that includes those savings. I'm not mad at you for that. Not everybody wants an additional boss. So
No, it's a lot. Jobs take a lot of your time, y'all. They do.
yeah,
So I'm not
they do.
advocating get another job if you're tired, but you just that's why Cherie's here, Mentor Shelly's here. That's why I'm here to see if that's the best thing for you. So
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. Ciroc says I do Uber rides 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., then work from 8:30 to 2 p.m., and then from 3:30 to 6 p.m. at my full-time job. Sorry,
Wow.
is that 3:30 to 6 a.m.? Wow. Then depending on my family
Wow.
schedule, I'll Uber ride or Uber Eats that evening. Who still rocks? You as a whole working man. Listen, I appreciate hardworking men. My goodness. Whew.
And it's temporary. And I believe
Yeah,
that's something that we should express to them. That
yeah.
you guys, this is temporary. You get the skills, you get the money, and you pivot. That's it.
Always have a plan. Don't just have this gobs of
Facts.
money and be like, what do I do with it now? Put it to work and make it make more
Facts.
money for you. How about that?
Yeah.
Still Rock says I do also focus. I also do focus groups, which is a great way to make some easy money every now and then, decreasing debt
Mm.
and rebuilding my emergency fund. We are all about fiscal responsibility around here. Well, of course, I don't have a choice.
Mm.
She's my friend, so I don't have a choice. Oh my goodness. Preach. Yeah, exactly, Victoria. Um, Thanks. That's how I feel about another job. Denise, I understand. Not everybody wants to go that route. The retired,
Mm-mm.
aka parents, keep yes, the retirees. I got one of those too. They keep pretty busy. So not everybody wants to do the additional job. So that's why I said if there's other ways that
Right.
you can make that money, please go for it. Please do it. Now we did touch on um upgrading, and I want to make sure that another thing you want to do as well is, let me do number three. Drum roll, please. Of course, my drum roll is awful.
Girl, we got to get you the thing with the sound effects. You already know. Girl.
Absolutely upgrade your skills and marketability. Denise Joe, you came in with it. Absolutely. If it means getting a certification, doing an online class, getting that certification so you can get that extra 30, 40, $50,000 bump in salary, do it. If it means you got to go to night classes, maybe somebody is switching out, transitioning from a regular desk job and wanting to do home home appraisals, right? You go to school depending on what the state requires, and if you're in a state that requires a license or a certificate or certification for that, and you want to do that, and you have a great network with real estate investors, or with a person like Cherie, obviously. um, Go to the class for a few weeks, get the certification, get your business out there, network with people that are in that space, and be able to do. I think a lot of those appraisals, depending on what the type of home you're appraising, what, at least $300-400 per house. Come on now, that's paying better than a lot of jobs out there. That's something I just, off the top of my head, because I know when I made a purchase, that's how much I had to pay for an appraisal, and in a state that doesn't even require a license. You know what I mean? So it just depends. Upskill in whatever way you can. If it means learning how to do bookkeeping, Cherie, I don't know if she's talked about this on her channel as well. Her mom was a bookkeeper for many years.
Hmm.
I don't know if she still does it, but her mom was a bookkeeper for many years. That's a service that people are doing remotely for all kinds of businesses. They niche down by business, they niche down by industry. Right now, QuickBooks is still giving the course away for free if you become one of their premier bookkeepers, and they will give you clients. Hello,
Hmm.
y'all. There's too many choices. Do you want to leave that job and be able to work and do something that, if you build it up, if you work on it, you become a freelance bookkeeper. You become a freelance anything if you have the skills already, or if you need to upgrade the skills, you can do that.
Mm.
So when I bring a question to you guys, I'm not just bringing, oh my gosh, I want to quit. I'm here to provide solutions, because any idiot can talk about a problem.
Girl.
we work
I
we
I
work
have
on solutions around here. Okay?
I do have a question as a career coach.
Yes.
Do you offer services that help those of us that want to pivot, but we say to ourselves, okay, you're giving me all these options, but good golly, Mentor Shelley, how do I focus on what I should do? Because a lot of us, myself included, are um, plagued with analysis paralysis because there's so many options that it's overwhelming. So do you help us recognize our skill set, our desires to kind of figure out which way to pivot? Because we could have a smorgasbord, right? Imagine going to like a Vegas buffet, right? The Rio buffet, girl, bomb. But
Mhm.
When I go in there, I go, okay, well, do I want sushi? Yes, I do. But I also want some spaghetti. And then I also want steak. And then I also want roast beef. And then I also want chicken. So, girl, doesn't your stomach hurt just thinking about that? So, when because the way I see the world, there's so many things, everything's available to us, right? We just have to dive in. But what can you what do you how can you speak to that? Like how do we figure that out in a world full of just oh god, infinite opportunity? Cuz some that's a
There's
problem for some people.
and I get what you're saying. Analysis paralysis has plagued all of us in one way, shape, or form in times past. A part of my career strategy when you book your consultation and we sit down and have the conversation. Number one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is, what is it that you want from your economic life?
Mm,
Where are you now? Where do you want to be 90 days from now, 6 months from now, a year from now? And based on what you tell me, well, if this is what you want, then here's a pathway to get it. What are your action steps? What are the tools that you're going to need? Right? I no one person has the same answer because where you are right now versus where you want to be will be determined by you, right? If I'm talking to a Gen Zer that barely kept his job at McDonald's
mm,
after, before graduating high school, and then now they're out of high school and they're doing these manufacturing jobs, but what they really want to do is X, Y, and Z. Okay.
mm,
So, what skills have they gathered since they got out of high school? We'll go through that. I do have assessments to be able to help them figure that out.
mm.
Once we have figured out, okay, what do you have? What is it an inventory? What of what you have can we use to get you where you want to be? Those are just some of the things. I can't give y'all all the secrets, but just to give you an idea of what it is that we're going to talk about and strategize, because that is specifically tailored to what you want to accomplish.
Right,
Okay. All right.
right.
Upgrading the skills, marketability. That may mean upgrading your, if you're looking for another job in a completely different industry, upgrading the resume, upgrading all of your other career marketing materials, which I refer to everything else: your cover letters, your response letters, your um, your tools that you have in your professional portfolio. Because if I see another manila folder show up at an interview, I'm going to scream. But we're going to talk about that another time. Now,
A manila fold, and a manila folder and a mama in the parking lot.
we're going to talk about that because I actually talked about it in a video last week, and I got a comment sympathizing with the kid. Well, they don't know any better. Then we're going to have to teach them, and that means what
Mm,
my plan for 2025 is, to put a comprehensive plan together for the Gen Z folks, because some of them, nobody's teaching the babies, and we got to make sure the babies are no, will not remain babies
mm.
if they're ready to become better in the professional world,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Still Rocks. Great info. We want to make sure that y'all have what you need if you do want to make that bounce out of that job. Appraisal, loan signers, inspection, a lot of ways to make money. Just in the real estate area, real estate industry alone. Just through it, that and all of those are required in a real estate transaction. And all of
Yeah.
those can be freelance. Those appraisers, either they're working for a big company, but 9 times out of 10, they're freelance. They're independent contractors. Loan signers. I'm a notary.
Mm,
I've done loan signings before. And signing, literally. Stamp, sign, Stamp, $90, $150. I spent 15 minutes in
Whew,
the room. Okay.
girl. Hey, I got a question for you because this is totally a topic we can dive in another day. I will tell
Hmm.
you what I've noticed just in being out and about now and doing face to
Hmm.
face like communication with people.
Hmm.
There are so many people now that are socially awkward that if you or I say, "Hey, get out there, talk to people, go to this, go to that, ba-da-da, just work the room." Cherie can attest to this too. People get so scared about human interaction now. So, do you offer services that can help with that? Because I am not afraid to go up to a stranger and say, "Hey, hey, boo,
So
let's
that's your
talk."
personality, though.
Yeah, because you know me, I'm like, I want to know everything about everybody. So I just be like, "Ooh, let me find my end. Where is it?" Okay. But so I'm different because I get energy from that, right? But
Right, 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 right.
your average person, even when you said the notary thing, think about it. How many people are really going to be super open to going into someone's house and sitting with them and, hey, sign this document, even though, and hear me out, Shell, even though I can make $100 by walking into your house and sitting there and just pretending to be a freaking extrovert for 10 minutes, make $100. Because of that social anxiety, people will shy away from it and be intimidated by it. So do you offer services, or like in your consultations, do you help people with that?
Of course, I mean, there's a psychological piece to any coaching.
Mhm.
With anything that you're doing, whether it be face to face work that you're doing, or over the phone,
Mhm.
or through email, whatever, you have to have a perspective of, this is not about me. This is about getting the
Mhm.
work done. You have to, you almost have to, not to say you're taking yourself out of it, but
Mhm.
you have to, you got to get out of your head a little bit. If you were at work and they said do X, Y, and Z, and you had to speak to this person to get what you needed to get done, you're gonna get it done.
Mhm.
Because what? You want to make your, do not let something as silly as "I'm a little shy" get in the way of your money. Let's be
Girl,
clear. Come on.
that I'm an introvert, girl. They be milking that, and I'm like, look, a lot of us are, but we also got to get this money.
You have to be able to adjust.
Mm.
That is where being flexible, understanding what's at stake, and making a decision,
Mhm.
keyword, making a decision to go out there and get it. Nobody's going to drop it in your lap
Mhm.
unless you're living in fantasy and wonderland. We can't afford to live in fantasy and wonderland. There's
Mhm.
there's a bag to get. There's money to be made. And it's not going to happen if we just wish it's going to happen. No, you got to get it done. Oh yeah, Cherie, your mom is still a bookkeeper. See, there you go. Denise said I did a data analytics, and then my mentor told me to learn QA and got the Scrum Master route. Yeah, I actually was listening to another YouTuber talk about Scrum Master. Scrum Master, I thought it was more complicated than that. It's pretty much, from what I understand, I may be, Denise, because you have more information in regards to it. I read up a little bit about it, but it kind of gives me like a project management vibe, but pays a lot better.
Mm.
Yeah, like a lot of the tenets of project management is woven into being a scrum master. Um, it's just for something different. Maybe, educate me a little bit, Denise. I'm going to do my own research after this. But pivoting to scrum master, from what I understand, is actually, from what I understand, a pretty lucrative career field to jump into. So that I'm
Yeah.
definitely open to learning. Cherie said, I suggest people invest in a coach because a lot of people need to talk it out in order to figure out what their next steps are. I could not agree
Whew.
more. Because if
Girl.
you are, but like for example, right? You are coaching people. Okay, well, if somebody comes to you, my credit is awful, my credit is this, my credit is this. Okay. And I need to do this, and I need to do. Okay, you need to do what? What is
Mhm.
it that you want? Let's clarify this. Let's clear the malarkey out. What is
Mhm.
it that you want? Okay, I want to buy a house in XYZ in another year or two.
Mhm.
Okay, do you have the down payment saved?
Right.
They're going to answer that question. Do you have what is your current credit score?
Mhm.
Okay, they tell you. Okay, in order for you to qualify, okay, well, what type of house or what type of housing or what type of real estate property are you looking to purchase?
Mhm.
Okay, based on those three questions, right? What is it that you already have done to meet your goal? If it's steps 1 through 20 and you got steps 1 through 3 done, okay, so step 4 is what? It's really that simple. When people I have friends that say, "Oh, you think in terms of processes." Nah, it's really that simple. I didn't say it was easy. It's that simple though. If you want something, right? If I want this pencil and I want to write something on a piece of paper with this pencil, is it going to happen if I think about it? Or is it going to happen if I pick up the pencil and pick up the paper and start writing? It's
Right.
really that simple. I'm not saying all of these changes career wise and wanting to quit your job and to do something else or to just get a mental break for a couple of months is not something that people cannot do. You can do it, but
Mhm.
have a plan. Make sure you have resources to support your plan. And if you need to, which I'm always an advocate for, upskill and get the skills you need to carry out your plan. So before you decide to go jump off in the deep end, honey, make sure you have a life vest on so you don't drown. It would help if you can swim. That's wonderful. But if you're going past 6 feet, you'll want to have a life vest on as well. Just saying. Not saying you can't go swimming, but make sure you're prepared for what happens. Because if something go left and you don't have your safety nets in place, we might have to say bye bye to you because the water took over. Just saying. Now,
And sometimes you gotta secure your life vest or your life, your little dinghy. That's what they call them. But secure your dinghy, because no, and I think too, the point that I think you are driving home right now is it's okay to speak up if you need help.
yes,
Nobody. Okay, my service is very discreet, as quiet as it's kept. 90% of my client base is men. Okay.
right,
So while you have these, people being very public about, oh, I don't care about money and women this, women that, blah, blah, blah. Girl, listen, these men
lies.
want to get their money. These men want to get their money right so they can support y'all. And I know it because I talk to them every day. Okay. I know it because, these guys, when they call me, the reason that they don't settle down is because they don't have enough money and they want to get enough money to create a household. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to say that and leave it as is. But what I wanted to really bring home here is that
Mhm.
sometimes you have to speak up to tell people what you need. I went about a decade not knowing that if I needed to call it in, I could go home and my mother would let me go back home. My mother just told me that maybe a month ago. She said, "You know what?" And I said it on another live stream. She said, "You know what, kid? If you needed to come home," she said, "you know I have a room. Stop acting like you don't know I have a room for you." I That touched my heart so much because I've been working so hard. Y'all have no idea. I've been
Mhm.
working so hard since I left my mother's house almost 20 years ago to
Mhm.
never go back because I always thought, well, I don't don't want to go back home because I don't know how that would be. And my mother said to me, "You know, I have a room. Why are you acting this way? You know, I have a room for you. Stop it." I didn't know that until I said, "Hey, ma, like I'm kind of like, I don't know what the next couple of years is going to look like for me. Like, I'm actually kind of scared, mom. Like, what do I do?" And she's like, I think I told you, Shell, my stepdad was in the background. He goes, "Tell her to come home." And I go, girl,
Maybe
I was
wait, hold on. Maybe
listen.
there's some other motivation there. They want,
No, because I know I love my stepdad. Because
of
me and
course.
him, girl, we go all up in the clouds. Because me and him, we be talking aliens and all kind of stuff. I love my stepdad, but no, I when I heard him say that, like I said, I was like, wait, what? Like, you mean all this time I didn't realize that I had a parachute this whole time and I didn't know it. So I don't have to really work as hard as I do. I don't have to. I can always go back home. And just hearing that
Mhm.
made me go, it made me breathe. Like I could finally stop holding my breath. And I was like, whoa, I have support. You know what I mean? So you
You
never know where it's gonna come from, y'all.
you never know. And it's beautiful that you discovered that. There are some of
Yeah,
us that don't necessarily have that support. It's all we're on the other side of that. We're taking care of parents.
true.
And there's some of us that do have the support and don't know it. But then there's some that depend on the support of parents, and you should not. This is why I'm saying the
Yeah.
things that I am saying. It is important to have your stuff together.
Hmm.
If any of you in listening to this today, or anybody that's listening going forward, whether you find this on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you find this video, and you want to truly throw up the deuces, have your economics in place. So if you fall, you at least have a cushion so you don't break your behind when you get down to the floor. Please do
Yeah,
it.
let your ego go. Dump your ego, man.
Please. It's not about that. Even
Yeah.
if it's 3 months of expenses, if you decide today, I'm done, I don't want to deal with this no more. 3 months of expenses ready. Okay. Denise just said, I just learned a software called Jira and it's used in QA. The software is so easy to use. Anyone with a brain can use it. Yes, Scrum is pretty much project managers. Wonderful. Isn't that wonderful? See, we um we have more options than we think, folks. And
Yeah, for sure.
sometimes because we have it's been, oh my God, you're gonna quit. You allow people that are fear mongering to not have you think through something. Get pen to paper, start your plan, but make sure you do these 3 things first. Know what you want, right? Make sure you get the resources in place. If it means working a part-time job, doing a little Uber, doing a little Lyft, doing a little Instacart, whatever you got to do to stash to get that off the ledge, at least 3 to 6 months. If you're on your own, a year's worth of emergency fund in place. You want to do that? Make sure you have that in place and some other things.
And please
That
don't do
makes
YouTube full time.
you can if other things are in place, right?
Sorry.
And thirdly, pick up some other skills that can definitely help you get to that journey or where you want to go in your economic life a little faster. Okay? So I said if you're going to quit, make sure you at least have these 3 things in place. So once you have those 3 things in place, then the decision becomes easier. It's like, well, do I got to stay here? Do I have something else that can help me make this money? Or did I get my side hustle or my business to a level where it can support my lifestyle now? If you're making the same amount or if you're making almost double the amount that your job is paying you, then you have a good decision to make. So it just depends. I'm not saying you can't do it, but do it wisely. I'm not saying you can't do it, but have the foundation. This is literally the foundation. Have your foundation in place. Know what you want to do. Have the resources and gather some additional skills that you need to make that transition. Victoria, anything additional that you want to add to this before we wrap up?
Yeah, just get out of your own way. Here's the thing. I remember hearing Erica talk about it not too well. It was quite a while ago. She talked about the fact that everybody out here needs money, yo. Like, let's be real. Everybody out here needs money. So if you have to suck it up, get a part-time job, suck it up, like Still Rocks, or was it Still Rocks that talked about
Mm-hmm.
doing the gig work right now?
Mm-hmm.
If you got to carve out that time, you carve out that time.
Yeah.
The moments, even if I'm gonna speak for myself, even if it takes you from watching my content, the hour that you spend watching Credit Solutionist and investigating my life, you could be using that hour to go out and drive Uber. You could be using that to go deliver some pizzas. All right. Because everybody that you know out here that is hustling, all of these YouTubers that you're watching, all these social media folk, guess what? They all
Mm-hmm.
did gig work.
Yep.
100%. 100%. Erica Williams talks about how she delivered pizza in the hot Texas sun, slept on people's couches. Everybody skips over that. No, she talks about that because she
Yep.
wants you to know it takes work.
Sure
Part of
did.
this is part of this is not going to be glamorous, y'all.
No,
It's
no, no,
not.
no,
Like,
no.
I didn't think I was going to have to get a part-time job this year, but guess what? I also didn't think I was going to have medical bills this year. I didn't come to Virginia to have medical bills. I came here to get rich. That's what I came here for. But, you know, other things happened. But am I going to sit and cry about it? Hell to the nah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. I'm going to get up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go out there. I'm going to get on camera with y'all whenever I can. But guess what? My money comes first. My well being comes first. I couldn't care less what my audience thinks about what I'm doing right now because I know it's about Victoria and what Victoria is going to do. And if
That's right.
Victoria is not okay, Victoria can't help you be okay.
You gotta take care of home first.
Bam. I
Right.
care about y'all that much that I'm getting my stuff straight before I really buckle down and be like, yo, cracking the whip on y'all. Like, nah. So my thing is, like I said, that's it. So be real about where you are because I
Yep.
had to get real about where I was this year.
Of
Yes, I
course.
know credit. Yes, I have a business. Yes, all that's still flourishing, y'all. Don't trip. But I also know what I got going on. So that's
Right.
my thing. Get out of your own way, swallow your pride, and get out there and get this money because that's what I'm doing. So and if people diss you, get around people that support what you're doing.
Yeah. 2025, we have no room, time, space, or energy for
Mm-mm.
people that are not moving in the forward direction that where you're going. Because if they're not going in
Facts.
the same direction, they need to get the heck out of the way or get pushed out of the way. One
Girl.
out the two. So I will say this for anyone looking to make this decision, I started off with the foundational steps. If you are looking to make that transition and quit that job, definitely schedule a consultation with me at mentorshelley.com/consultations. You want to have the tools along with the foundational pieces to go from where you are to where you want to be. And that is not going to happen in a vacuum. That is not going to happen in your imagination only and wishing upon a star. It is going to happen with a concrete plan that you execute. All right? That is going to happen with a plan that you execute. That is why it is so important to not just talk about, but be about what it is that you want in your career and in your entire economic life. It's not just in a career path that you're working for somebody else, but your career path can include business. Your career path can include investments. Your career path can include anything that contributes to you positively and economically in this space. Going into 2025, folks, we can't just talk about it. We got to be about it. Okay? It's time to get off the bench and get in the game because there's money to be made out here and there's lives to change. We're here to help people change lives for the better, not for the worse. Miss Victoria here is out here helping to change lives because she's a financial coach, she's a debt elimination coach. I'm here to help people change their lives from a career standpoint and help businesses get their businesses up to par through HR consulting. Cherie is here to help change lives by helping them to acquire one of the most prized possessions, their people's homes, people's investment homes that will also bring in income. We are here to help you to become a better professional. We're here to help you to become a better person economically. We're here to help you to become a more fiscally responsible person. At the end of the day, it's all about progression in 2025. So even if you go say bye bye, say deuces to the job, that does not mean you're not doing better economically. All you need is a concrete plan and execution. All right, guys, this is Mentor Shelley and
Victoria.
Great Credit
Hey,
Solutionist.
yeah, come see me at mycreditcall.com, you guys.
Yes,
Like I
yes.
said, I've slashed some prices. We don't know how long for, but if something speaks to you right now and it's on your heart, start working on bettering yourself and come see me, all right? And then come see Shell if that's what you need.
All right, guys, this is Mentor Shelley and Credit Solutionist. Out. Good night,
Peace.
y'all. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, everybody. Denise, Cherie, Still Rocks. A couple of new people came through, but we thank you so much for stopping by and joining us, joining the very fruitful and very positive and lucrative conversation. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.